Alright, we're live. Welcome to episode 13 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi Podcast. Some people call it not a podcast because we have visual elements, but doesn't matter. My name is Xiao Dai, and we have again
Gaza.
Gaza. Yes. Gaza, we did have a request this time. Someone did actually listen to our podcast. And
Yeah, we got a comment on our podcast.
yeah, that's unbelievable. I can't believe that actually happened. But
I think
anyway,
it's the first time.
oh well, actually it's not the first time because there's a bunch of comments. But this comment we wanted to kind of respond to, and it's the comment that's made by one of the viewers. He mentioned that is it Dwyrin?
Yeah,
Dwyrin, yes. He's made some comments about the AGA website. So AGA is the American Go Association, and mostly in regards to the coverage of the North American Go professional qualification tournament. So
Right, yeah. So Dwyrin is actually one of the most popular amateur Go players on YouTube,
yep,
and he's also he's from North America. I think he's from the United States.
right,
I'm not too sure, but he's definitely from North America.
right,
And he's been on YouTube for many, many years. And he made this video on YouTube
yeah,
where he mentioned that he didn't actually even know about the North American Pro Qualifying Tournament until after it had started.
right,
And one of the reasons for that is because the American Go Association website, I mean, it hardly mentioned it
yep,
on the website. And it kind of did, but the issue is that the website is not very user friendly. It's quite hard to navigate.
right,
Well, yeah, I mean, there are many issues that he addresses. One, it's the website is kind of outdated in its format and functionality. It seems like it hasn't been updated for 10 plus years.
yep,
In its design,
right,
and it is hard to search for things, and even if you were searching for things, like, it's hard to know where to search or how to search.
right,
And secondly, the website didn't actually give much details about the games. Like, if you're watching on now, you can see that there is an article about how Kevin Yang and Alexander Chi did qualify as professionals from the tournament.
yep,
But while the tournament was underway, there were no updates, no results, nothing.
right,
And there were only, some very brief articles prior to the tournament about its, its existence, and a couple of, descriptions on some of the players.
yep,
But that was it.
yep,
It really wasn't covered or all that well on the AGA website.
yep. So yeah, and of course, I mean that's a lot of his videos just went on to kind of discuss what the fact that there was no coverage. But then he did mention that someone possibly affiliated with the AGA, or maybe the NAGF, or basically North American Go Association. That's Canada and USA altogether. Now they did put together this website which looks quite nice, and they had this nicely designed graphics, if I may say so, of the players, and there is some coverage that's kind of live, and I think they did cover some of this live on Twitch, and they do have the game keyfus. I did make a comment about the iconography being a bit confusing for me, but hey, that's kind of as good as it got. But obviously this is not the AGA website, nor is it the NAGF website. This is Baduk.club.
It should be. Yeah, it should. You mentioned that there's a separate NAGF. So AGA stands for the American Go Association.
Yeah.
And that's basically the official organization for the United States.
Right.
The NAGF is the North American Go Federation, and they're the ones who are actually organizing this tournament.
Right.
NAGF, since it's it's not just Americans. It's there's also Canadians and other North American countries could theoretically be involved.
Right.
This website is the one that had the announcement of the tournament.
Correct.
And, it had the PDFs with the regulations and the players.
Yep.
This website though, this didn't have any coverage of the games or anything like that either.
No.
And it didn't even announce the results of the tournament. The only way you'd know who the pros are is because they added Kevin Yang and Alexander Chi's biography at the end in their list of pros.
Yep.
But nothing else regarding the tournament. So this website is a little bare bones.
Yes, very very bare bones. Yes.
But yeah, that other website on Baduk.club.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems to have been a volunteer effort done by someone who was just trying to send out exposure or get these games covered for other people to experience.
Yep.
And I must say, I think without this website, we wouldn't know the results of the games. Like it would have been very difficult for us to get results of the games unless we were literally watching the games as they were being broadcast on KGS.
Well, I think the other issue was that it was not obvious in which room was the games being broadcast. I believe we had to ask somebody and to figure out that it was in the what's it called, is it National Go Center room or something. So it wasn't, and also KGS makes it a bit harder to watch the games, but that's what I wanted to say about that. But in general, what do you agree with? I always forget how to pronounce this. Dwyrin's comments about the AGA.
I am not a fan of the AGA website. I agree with his comments about the AGA website. It's not a website that I peruse very often.
Yeah.
Really cover it.
I did peruse it once to try and find out who the North American rep would be for the Chunlan Cup.
Yep.
And I got no results. It had nothing.
Right.
And I remember the North American Go Federation website didn't have any information either. I literally had to wait. I think I had to. The first time I found out Ryan Lee was representing the North American. Representing North America in the Chunlan Cup was when it was included in the Chinese Wikipedia page for the Chunlan Cup.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty pretty crazy. But yeah, I really only go to the AGA website when I need to get information and I've exhausted all other options.
Right, that's your last resort.
Because I don't visit the website with much hope of getting whatever information I'm looking for.
Right. So overall, of course we understand that the AGA is mainly a volunteer effort, but
Dwyrin kept mentioning that it is a non-profit organization.
Yes. I think people are aware of that, but it does feel that the information could be presented better. This is why I talked about. And Dwyrin went to this Baduk Club Twitch page and showed that they had really decent live coverage of the games, and they even invited pros or very strong players to commentate on the game. So I watched some of the coverage. It's really well done. So At least
Yeah.
there's individual effort, and I believe the person behind Baduk Cup might be associated with the AGA in some capacity.
I'm not sure if he's associated with the AGA. For some reason, I got the impression he was actually European.
Right. I know. I think I believe he runs a club in Ohio or something. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Oh, I must be mistaken then.
Yeah. If I remember correctly. So, hey, good on the person, whoever is behind Baduk Club. I don't really know the person's name. Maybe it's somewhere. But yeah, good on you if you're listening to this podcast. And we hope to see that European and North American professional Go being better organized and kind of really professionalized, and hopefully at some point it's kind of as vibrant as the chess communities and the professionals.
I do hope. I do think that, like, in particular, Kevin Yang and Alexander Chi are quite have quite a lot of potential, more so than really any of the other North American pros at the time that they turned pro.
Yep.
Maybe with the exception of Ryan Lee, but I'm kind of hoping that their sort of potential and their growth could sort of catalyze the American Go Association to take their pro reporting, take it a little bit more seriously and a bit more thoroughly.
Yes.
Because I can appreciate that there probably is a lot of good content on that website that isn't related to professional news.
Yeah.
But yeah, for someone like me who doesn't live in America, and is really only interested in the professional scene when it comes to North America, yeah, it's really not. The website's not for me at the moment. Yeah.
Yes, I fully understand. Okay, that's it. That's about it. All I wanted to say about Dwyrin's comments about the AGA, and let's move on to our normal pro content, which is, shall we start with this big post about the halfway point of the Korean results?
I thought that, since we're at the halfway point of 2022,
yep,
the Korean Baduk Association released some statistics and some, results for the first half of the year.
Yep.
Because, for each calendar year, they sort of have an end-of-year awards. End-of-year awards where, the player with the most wins in the year, the best win rate, the longest winning streak,
right,
they get awards.
Yep.
So what they did is they sort of released, the best players so far in the first half of the calendar year. And I thought it would be interesting to just go over, see who's been in the best form so far this year.
Yeah. So let's go through the list.
Yeah. So one small caveat is that there is a small domestic league in Korea.
Yep.
Called, I think, the Domestic Knights Association League or something like that.
Yeah.
And those games are not included in these statistics.
Right.
Those games, they are professional games and they are counted towards a player's, career record, career win-loss record. But for purposes like, most wins in a year and win-loss percentage in a calendar year, they're not included.
Yeah.
So those games are also not included in these halfway through the year reports. Otherwise, Kimyoungji actually would have the most wins.
Right.
Which when you crazy. Include those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without those games, Shin Jinseo, unsurprisingly, is topping the win tally.
Right. No
49 wins, which is absolutely insane for 6 months.
Yep, insane. Yep.
In Japan, most players don't get that many wins in an entire year.
Yeah.
But they play a lot more games in Korea. But in any case, not only does Shin Jinseo play a lot of games, he wins almost all of them as well.
Yeah. Crazy.
But it is still impressive when you consider that Shin Jinseo doesn't play in qualifiers because he's the best number one in Korea, so he gets seeded into the later rounds of every tournament.
Yeah.
So Yeah, to have the most wins is pretty impressive. Kang Dongyun is having a great year so far, 43 wins.
Yep.
Especially again, we keep referring back to his dreadful Jar League last season.
Yeah.
Where it looked like he may be in the maybe entering the twilight of his career, but not to be. He's gotten a resurgence.
Yeah.
Of course, So I mentioned Kim Eunji. She's really having a breakout year. Maybe this is the year that she should have had last year.
Right.
But she was suspended last year.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's trying to she's making up for lost time.
For sure.
Just really exploding in especially in the women's leagues.
Yeah.
We've got
she's only non-9P in the list.
Yes, that's right. So she's definitely on the rise. So you think that she'll only get better from here.
Yeah. And she's like 15?
I think she is 15 now.
Yeah, which is crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the usual suspects there: Park Junghwan, Kim Ji-sok, Byun Sangil, Shin Minjun having a good year.
Yeah.
Won Song-jin, he's played a lot of games.
Yeah.
He's not winning at his expected rate, but
right.
He's still won a lot of games. He's top top 10.
Yeah.
Like we've mentioned Kim Myounghoon before.
Yep.
This seems to be his breakout year as well.
Yeah.
Recently became a 9-dan, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
And Choi Jeong, no surprise to see Choi Jeong into the top 10.
Yeah.
Probably lost a few more games than she would have liked.
Yeah.
But still racking up a solid number of wins.
Yeah. So that's in general pretty solid list.
Yeah. These are all sort of established names, and then Kim Eunji, who we all expected to turn into a good player.
Yeah, she might challenge Choi Jeong in a few years' time, maybe sooner than we think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. When she's like 18 something. So okay, so we got a similar story up the top of the ranking in the best win rates in 2022.
Yeah. So one caveat there: you have to play 18 games.
Right.
You would think that people who have the best win rates would have played at least 18 games, but no, there are some players who play in very, very few tournaments.
Yeah.
They're sort of semi-retired.
Yeah.
And there are some players who... There's one player, I think actually the coach of Celtrion...
Right.
actually he's only played 3 games, and he's won all 3.
Yeah.
But he's only entered 1 tournament. So
yeah.
So they're not included, but... Yeah, we've got the usual suspects. Shin Jinseo, 89%, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
For a 6-month time period.
Now, if this rate continues to the end of the year, that would be another record, wouldn't it?
That would be a record, yes.
Yes. Well,
it would be his own record.
Yeah.
Of 2020.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
If I'm not wrong, it will be in 88% something. I can't remember.
I think he won 76. And 10.
Right. So 10 over 86. That would be 1 minus that. So that would be 88.37. So yeah, if this continues, he would break his own record, which is crazy.
That just shows how ridiculous his 2020 year was. He's barely got a higher percentage now, and looks 56 and 49 and 6.
Yeah.
So we've got Park Junghwan, Kang Dongyun, Kim Young-hoon, Byun Sangil. They're all the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Sim Jaeik, see number 2, Sim Jaeik.
Yeah.
So this guy is like, I think he's 23.
Yep.
And he hasn't. I'm not sure if he enters everything, but when he has entered tournaments, he's won. He's won most of his games.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm thinking maybe his low number of games played. Maybe he wasn't drafted in the last Baduk League.
Right. Yep.
That could possibly be it.
Yeah.
but he's certainly having, just an amazing year so far. 18-3, very, very impressive.
Yeah.
He did qualify for the Myungin, so
Yeah.
that's one of the tournaments he
Yeah.
got a deep run in. Yun Junsang.
Yep.
Yun Junsang is not a rising star. He's a veteran.
Yep.
He's got over 700 career wins.
Yeah.
And is had 15 wins. His most notable, of course, being beating Shin Jinseo in the Maxim Cup.
Yep.
He's won he's a former Kuksu champion.
Yes.
So that sort of gives you an idea of just how old he is. I think he won that in 2007 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a long time ago. And of course, Kuksu is often regarded, even though it wasn't the richest tournament, it was regarded as the most prestigious or most respected because Kuksu.
Well, it's the oldest one.
Right. Yeah.
In Korea, I mean, before it went defunct.
Yeah, like Kuksu literally means national hand, and they in Chinese and in Korean they use the word hand to refer basically to refer to the player. So basically you're the national player, representing good enough to represent your country kind of thing. So it's really
he actually won it in 2006.
Very nice. Yes.
Yeah, so 16 years ago, beat Lee Chang-ho.
Yeah.
He also won the SK Gas Cup in 2007.
Yep.
He's been around for a long, long time. As I said, 700 career wins.
Yep.
And the other three there, Lee Hyun-ho, I literally know nothing about.
No.
Kim Chi-young is, of course, a women's player,
Yep.
top 100 in Korea.
Yep.
And, third or fourth
Mm.
in the women rankings.
Yep.
She's gotten very close to qualifying for a few big events. Like she was one game off qualifying for the Myungin.
Yep.
And obviously just an overall really strong year. Best win rate among women in Korea. And Wee Tae-wong, he almost qualified for the Korea's Strongest League. I think he was one game off,
Right.
qualifying for that. And he also competed in the not the Baduk League, but the Reserves League,
Right.
the Futures League.
Yep.
And he actually he tied for the best win record for most wins in that league. Yeah. So
Well done. Awesome.
yeah, a big achievement by Wee Tae-wong.
Yeah, Wee Tae-wong. Yep. And then we have the best win streaks. This is
Best win streak. So surprise, surprise, Shin Jinseo is top of that one as well.
Right. Yeah.
18 wins, including all of April. He won 9 or 10 games without losing. And, it's just insanely impressive because he was playing, I don't know if this included the Nongshim Cup. Maybe this was after the Nongshim Cup. It was definitely after the LG Cup final.
Right.
But, this included the Korean Baduk League. Almost all the games that he plays are against strong players because he doesn't play in qualifiers. He always gets seeded into the latest possible round of every tournament. So he's either playing strong players or players that beat strong players.
Yeah.
To face him.
Yeah.
So 18 quality wins, very difficult to do.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yu Chang-hyuk, a bit of a surprise there. Like we said, Yun Junsang was a veteran. Well, Yu Chang-hyuk was a veteran when Yun Junsang won the Kuksu 16 years ago.
Yeah. It's a bit of a legend.
He's got over 1,300 wins. We mentioned him before. He just won the Senior International Championship.
Yeah.
He doesn't play as much, which is why his 17 win streak spans over 4 months.
Yeah.
But he's he can still perform.
Absolutely.
And he's actually still in the top 100 in Korea.
So that's pretty impressive, I guess.
Yeah. We've got Kang Dongyun, 16 16 win streak, including all of February, undefeated in February. Kim Myounghoon, 14 games. Park Yun-ho, so he had a 12-game win streak, and that ended up with him entering the top 10 for the first time, I think in the June rankings.
Yep.
And of course, Park Junghwan, no surprise to see him have a win streak of his own.
Yeah. So that's a pretty impressive list, I guess.
Yeah, so pretty much Park Yun-ho is really. I mean, Kim Young-hoon is having a career year, but Park Yun-ho is probably the least established of that group.
100%.
Yeah.
And then we got the most prize money. Now I did do a quick Google search. I believe Shin Jinseo's prize money total here would equate to about almost $600,000 at today's exchange rate. It's about $596,900 That's crazy.
Yeah.
For
I usually convert to Australian dollars.
that would be let me just have a quick check.
It would be about 700. You just need to divide by 1,000 usually.
Yeah, no, it's a current exchange rate is a bit higher than 1,000. It's about 874,000 Australian dollars. So that's a pretty
really?
good, that's pretty decent winning for half a year.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent chunk of change, and it's about if you do number of the games he's played, he averages about 14 million. I mean 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 million Korean won per game played.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Which is probably something like $11,000
per game.
Per game.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
So so this list, Shin Jinseo Park, the top 5 there, they were all part of the Nongshim Cup team.
Yes.
And they won. So they won that this year. And despite Shin Minjun and Byun Sangil not winning any games, none of them actually won any games this year except for Shin Jinseo. But they all got the prize money.
Yeah.
Once it was won.
Right.
And even Byun Sangil and Shin Minjun, who didn't win any games at all, they still get a decent chunk of change.
Yeah.
For being part of the Nongshim Cup winning team.
Yeah. We do have a post on Pro Weiqi that describes exactly the formula for how this is distributed. So if you're interested, you can just go to search for it.
So even without so Shin Jinseo also got a little bit more because of the win streak.
Yeah.
But even without that, Shin Jinseo does get more than 20% of the team's winnings.
Yes.
Because not only did he win the majority of the games, but he also won the final game.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And also Park Jong-hoon and Park Young-hoon at the bottom there, they were along with Park Junghwan part of the winning team of the Korean Baduk League.
Yep.
So they're Park Jong-hoon and Park Young-hoon are appearing in the top 10 mainly because of their team winning the league. Choi Jeong, of course, she won a tournament. She won a women's tournament. I think the Korea Women's Strongest earlier this year.
Yeah.
So she got winnings for that. Lee Dong-hoon, of course, he was runner-up in the Hanguk Kiwon Championship and the Maxim Cup.
Yep.
And Kim Ji-sok is I think he's just an all-around consistent player.
Yeah.
No surprise to see him in the top 10.
Yeah. Now basically Shin Jinseo might be able to break a record in prize money for the year, isn't it? Because we still have LG Cup to go, Samsung Cup to come. Maybe
LG Cup's not going to be finished this year.
Right. Yeah.
So the LG Cup prize money won't be part of this year. I mean, he already won the LG Cup earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But right. Yes, theoretically the Samsung Cup is about 300,000 won.
Yep.
I mean 300 million won.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
So if he wins that, that would put him over 1 billion won.
Hmm.
And if the In Cup final is played this year,
Yeah.
and he wins that, that's another 400 million Korean won.
Yeah.
And that would put him over 1.4 billion won, which is the current record.
Held by
And
Lee
that's
Sedol.
held by Lee Sedol. I don't recall. I'm not familiar with what year it was,
No. Yeah.
but he does hold the record at 1.4 billion won
Yeah.
for most prize money in a single calendar year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's possible Shin Jinseo could break that. In particular, if the GR League returns this year,
Yeah.
that's those any games he wins in that is counted towards his prize money.
Right.
So you have to consider that as well.
Yeah. And yeah, he gets a decent chunk from that one as well.
Yeah, there's also things like the Yongseong final,
Yeah.
which he's already in. There's the GS Caltex Cup. There's
Yeah.
the Myoungin.
Yeah.
He could win those as well.
Yeah. And don't forget the possibility, although very remote, of the In Cup final and the Lanka Cup starting. So you never know.
The Lanka Cup. I forgot about that. That was meant to start this month, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, well, it hasn't. So
Yeah.
yeah, and also the In Cup final, if it happens ever.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so next we have, I think, most games.
yeah.
So this is most games played.
Oh wow.
So this is the first one that Shin Jinseo is not leading.
Yeah.
The thing is, if he won, sometimes he doesn't play. He plays less games because he doesn't lose enough games. In the LG Cup final, he only played 2 games because he won both of them.
Yep.
In the Korea's Strongest final, he only played 4 games because he only lost once.
Yep.
But yeah, he's still 4th in games played.
Yeah.
Again, you've got the usual suspects: Park Junghwan, Byun Sangil, Shin Minjun, Kim Ji Sok, Kang Dongyun, Choi Jeong. No surprise there. Kim Eunji is just, she's just going on blast. She's played. I'm guessing because when she returned from her suspension, her ranking was so low.
Yeah.
That she had to enter the qualifiers for a lot of events.
Right.
And in particular, probably some of the women events.
Yep.
And, she's clearly so strong already.
Yeah.
So much stronger than the other women players that she's just playing a lot of games because she's winning a lot.
Yeah.
And she has to start from the lowest rung of the qualifiers a lot of the time. So
yeah. And I have a good feeling that we might see her again when we discuss some of the games. And she did have a remarkable game this week.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see.
Yeah. Also, but yeah, the other two, Weon Seongjin and Cho Han Seong.
Yep.
So their inclusion is likely because they were on Team Celtrion in the Korean Baduk League.
Right.
And so, because Celtrion barely qualified for the finals, they meant they had to play the whole step ladder.
Yeah.
They just played a lot of games.
Yeah. And he's barely around 50, so Cho Han Seong. So
well, Cho Han Seong, he's actually below 50. Of course, he also qualified for the LG Cup.
Yeah.
So he won a lot of qualifiers.
Yeah.
In that, Won Song Jin, he played a lot of qualifiers in the Myoungin, which he actually qualified for.
Yep.
He's also playing in the YK Construction Cup, so that all adds up.
Yep. So pretty decent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's this? Oh, this is the top 10 ranking.
Yeah, this is just the top 10 rankings. Not much to say here. Shin Jinseo Park, always number 1.
Yeah.
Park Chun-wan consistently number 2. Byun Sangil consistently number 3. They actually held those spots for the entirety of 2021.
Yeah.
Those 3 players. So that's 18 straight months.
Yeah.
They've been 1, 2, and 3. A couple of surprises. Lee Chang-seok is sort of barely hovering around the top 10 now. He had a really strong 2021, but he's been a little quiet the last few months.
Yeah.
Kang Dongyun has sort of, he started the year outside the top 10, and he's just, demanded, his way back in.
Yeah.
Han Seung-ju is also another name like Lee Chang-suk, who's, since, March this year, he's been very quiet.
Yeah.
But that's, and also, Kim Myounghoon is emerged into the top 10 starting in April, actually.
Yep. Done pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's the monthly top 10s.
And this is just a list of all of the domestic and Korean domestic and international tournaments that have happened this year and who's won them.
Yep.
So Shin Jinseo has won 2, the LG Cup and the Korea Strongest. Park Junghwan has also won 2, the Hanguk P1 Championship and the Maxim Cup.
Yep.
They're the only multiple-time champions this year so far.
Yep. Very nice.
So, pretty much in summary, Shin Jinseo is...
a beast.
Yep, Shin Jinseo is a beast.
Yep. Wow.
And hopefully these sort of statistics, these numbers just demonstrate just why Shin Jinseo is so highly regarded and so feared.
Yeah. I mean, I might have mentioned this before, but the Ray, the one of the most senior Weiqi reporters, on his podcast, he's like, "Oh, I don't think Shin Jinseo is going to continue his good form because he's becoming 22, and life will get in the way. He'll have more to worry about and stuff. So I don't know. Let's see. I hope Shin Jinseo will continue in this way and
it really depends. Obviously, these players are human after all, and they have emotions, and they can have changes of heart. For example, it's quite possible that Lee Dong-hoon is no longer interested in Baduk.
Right.
Very hard. It's just a rumor, but he hasn't actually played since the Maxim Cup final, which as you can see there was on the 18th of April.
Right.
So that's nearly 3 months now that he hasn't played, and he was number 4 in Korea at the time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one.
So obviously he's seems to be taking a break. So even the top players sometimes, for whatever reason, take a break when they're at their peak or become disillusioned or something.
Yeah.
Obviously now at the moment, Koji is not focusing 100% on Weiqi.
Yeah.
He's taking university classes.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe in a year or so, Shin Jinseo may not be as focused on Baduk.
Yeah.
He may have found some other sort of outlet or obsession or something like that.
Yeah.
Some other passion. But at the moment, it seems like he's entirely focused on Baduk, on winning, on destroying everyone.
Yeah.
And
Let's see.
All the best.
Yeah. Well, staying in Korea, I think this week is going to be a Korea heavy week. We wanted to go to actually some of the tournament that's been ongoing. One of the biggest one, of course, is the Minjun.
Oh yeah, that's probably the premier major in Korea.
It's probably one of the main ones. So there's a few. Now, I think Minjun starts off in the round of 16, and a few games have happened this week.
It started off in the round of 16, but one thing to note is that it's a double elimination.
Right. Yep.
So it's not single knockout. If you lose your first game, you don't get eliminated from the tournament.
Yeah. So this chart is just the winner section, the progression. Of course, the loser, as Gaza mentioned, is not out yet. They have a way to come back. In fact, that's what happened to Shin Jinseo last year.
Exactly. He lost his very first game.
Yeah.
And then he won his next 6 to make the final. Yeah.
Yep. So shall we go through some of the results and
So I think only 4 games have been played so far.
Yeah.
But let's go through them.
Yep. So Seol Hyunjun versus Kang Seungmin and Kang 1-1.
Yep. So this one was I think this one was a fairly interesting game. It was a very big there was a big dragon game, I think.
Right.
And in the end, Kang Seungmin managed to kill Seol Hyunjun's dragon.
Right.
So in terms of points difference, I think Kang Seungmin was ahead by maybe 65 points.
Right.
But yeah, it was really all about which group lived and died.
Right.
Kang Seungmin won out in that one. He played better. So.
Yeah. All right.
But it was quite an exciting game.
Yeah. I just remember maybe perhaps had the lowest viewership maybe. But
I do remember the viewership was quite low, but these games are not actually being streamed on Baduk TV. They're being streamed on K Baduk.
Right.
Which is also a YouTube channel. They were also the ones that streamed the Korea's Strongest tournament. But yeah, they stream. They're the ones that stream the Myounghoon, and they typically get less viewership despite the higher prestige of the tournament.
Yes. Okay, I see. Now we also had a game between Byun Sangil and Weon Seongjin.
This one was a good one. So we mentioned, last month or maybe in May that Weon Seongjin had that incredible slump.
Yeah.
Including losing all of his games in the final of the Korean Baduk League.
Yeah.
But since then he has qualified for the Myoungin, and he had to win like 4 or so games to do that.
Yeah.
I think he also qualified for the LG Cup as well.
Yeah.
But that could have been before his long losing streak. I'm not sure. But I think this game against Byun Sangil, this was the first time where he actually had since his losing streak, where he's actually had a win against a player of this caliber.
Yeah. It was a half point win, but still pretty crazy.
It was a half point win, and it was a very interesting game. Most of Byun Sangil's games are quite interesting.
Now, when Seongjin is quite a big fighter.
And Byun Sangil is no passive player either.
No, so I just remember this game was a really huge fighting game.
Yes.
And okay, so we, I think that game is good to go over. It's very interesting.
It's worth noting that Byun Sangil actually was the winner of the winners bracket in the last Myoungin.
Right.
Including beating Shin Jinseo in the first round.
Yeah.
So obviously he made the final last time.
Yep.
But this time he loses his first game, and so now he has to pull off a Shin Jinseo. He has to win all the way from the losers bracket now.
Yeah. Which might still happen, but let's see. When
I do remember actually that game. There was a bit of a long co-fight.
Right.
And I think Won Seongjin did make a mistake at some point in the fight. And Byun Sangil wasn't able to quite take advantage of it. But I think both of those players were in Byoyomi at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a very exciting game.
Yeah. I think in the end, Weon Seongjin only won by half a point. So it was just. And then
I think you're right.
Yeah. And then we have Lee Jihyun versus Shin Minjun.
Yep. So I think this was a pretty comprehensive. I think this was a pretty convincing win by Shin Minjun, if I recall.
Yeah.
Mind you, both of these players, both of these players made the Asian Games team recently.
Yep.
By recently, of course, the Asian Games hasn't actually been played, but they recently made the team.
Yep.
Through the qualifying system. But yeah, in this game, Shin Minjun had a fairly comfortable win here.
Yeah. I think he just defeated Jihyun very easily. It was yeah. That's the only thing I recall from it. Yeah, I just remember Minjun playing this Tetsuji over here. I think the idea is threatening to cut, but also if White protects, then he can pull back, giving himself better shape. Yeah, like here. So yeah, so I think, and yeah, this part is very beautiful. How Minjun played here. So Minjun is black, and then Minjun's corner is like being threatened, and he just plays so flexibly here. Like he just attached, let White cut him off, and then played here, and decides to give up the corner. And what he got in return was this huge thing in the middle. So just very flexible the way he played. And then he even took some Yosei advantage just here and just let it die. And after
that really is
yeah.
It's really Shin Minjun's style. I recall it just reminds me of his final against his LG Cup final against Koji. This style of play.
Yeah, no, I just play so beautifully here. Just give up the corner, but got something bigger in the end. That's a really good game. And of course, after that we have Jaeik and Choi Jeong.
Yeah, I want to have a look at this game because I looked at this. This game happened yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
This was the most recent game we've been played.
Yeah. So let me open up that game. I have the game on a series platform. So yeah, go on. Or describe what's happened.
Yeah. So Choi Jeong is black, I think, right?
Choi Jeong is white.
Oh, Choi Jeong is white.
Yeah.
Yes. So one small thing here is that both of these players are actually ranked number 25 in Korea. They have the same number of points.
Yeah.
So they're both tied for 25th. So it's like a battle to see who's the best 25th place.
And don't forget, Choi Jeong is also 25 years old.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Now it was around about at move 115.
Right. So let me just, because I went through this. Let me just like describe a few details first, right? So you see here, I put the numbers there, and that's basically me counting out the territory for each player. So I'm just counting White's territory here, and I counted around 31, plus the 3 captures, so it's about 34. Plus, I haven't counted any of the thickness or any here, so there's potential here. There's some potential here, but we'll see what happens. So White is on about 30, 35 plus. You can see if White gets Atari here, then it can capture more. So it's north of 35, right? North of 35 White with some thickness thrown in. So, and if you count Black, I also counted just about 30, 35. Just remember, I didn't give Black any points here because White's Atari here. Basically, like, just imagine this, like White can get more. So I didn't count this for Black. But Black is also around 30, 35, right? Not counting the thickness and all of that stuff. But so you would say that at this stage, Black is a little bit behind, given the fact that you have to give Komi.
Right.
So that's the count. That's the background. And you wanted to say which move was it? 108?
No, it was about move 117, I think.
Right. So basically the just before you get to that, basically you look at this White group here, and Black just invaded, and just play this connection. So White has to block one side, and Black can connect back the other side. So now notice that this White group is not alive yet, and it's kind of surrounded by Black stones. So let's go to 100. So and then White play this move, pull back, Black connect, and then White peeped, and this is where the next move is on 117.
Yes.
Okay, no, this is 117. The next move is White's move.
Yes, and so Choi Jeong plays at D6.
Yeah, the connection here. Yep.
Yeah, and so the move that she missed, I don't think Choi Jeong missed this. I think she just didn't play it.
Yeah. So
Was G6 the
yes.
wedge?
So this is the AI recommended move and probably the best move. Yeah.
This, I think that this is the only. This could be the only move actually.
Yep.
For white.
Yep. So okay. So is there anything more you want to say about this move? You want?
Yeah. Well, what do you want to say about it?
I was gonna say I studied it and I kind of got a few variations that I wanted to show.
Yeah, go through them, please.
All right. Right. Okay. So, I think the idea was okay. So maybe we'll talk about Choi Jeong. What Choi Jeong thought. Okay. I think Choi Jeong thought that. I think you're right. Choi Jeong did see this move, but I thought Choi Jeong thought that this move was sente. I think that's what Choi Jeong was thinking because, imagine if Black played here, which is actually what happened in the game. Like Choi Jeong thought, hey, I'm gonna kill this group, so all of this is gone. So, and then Black still has to play here, and then after this, notice this Black group is not alive. Choi Jeong can still play the Atari to start a ko. So Choi Jeong thought that this would be too painful for Black, but it turns out that this is Choi Jeong's mistake. This move is not sente. I think at a minimum AI suggests you play here. So if Black ignores, then Choi Jeong can just kill both sides with one move.
Yes, yes, AI does suggest that, and I think Choi Jeong actually looked at that move as well. But I don't understand why she didn't at least play B6.
Right. But for whatever reason, Choi Jeong played here, thinking that this was gonna happen, but it ends up being, you see, Choi Jeong spent 2 moves and is still not dead. Versus what's happened if she did play
and that's
here.
what actually happened in the game, by the way.
No, so that's okay. So I think that's what Choi Jeong thought was going to happen. She thought that it was sente, but it turns out it wasn't sente. Now, basically, what AI suggests was to wedge here, and the idea is that, so imagine if Black played here, right? Then I believe the idea is that White can cut.
I just want to quickly mention that's actually what they went over this variation after the game, and Sim Jaeik. That's how Sim Jaeik would have actually responded.
Right. And would Choi Jeong have responded here?
I don't think so, actually.
Right. Choi Jeong was thinking about playing somewhere else, like something like this.
I think so, yes.
Right. Okay. But when I went through the variation, I think the idea was that White should cut here.
Absolutely.
And then
that's what the AI says, yes.
And then when Black Atari, White can actually connect, and Black has to connect, and then White can play here in sente. And notice that there's still this annoying Atari here. So Black is not alive yet, even after playing this. But of course, Black's compensation is there's a cut here, and of course this group is not fully alive. So, but apparently this would be pretty good for White.
It's still very complicated. So that's probably why Choi Jeong didn't end up playing it.
Right.
But the AI does say it's quite a convincing advantage for White.
Yeah. So, but what can actually happen is that Black doesn't have to connect under. Black can Atari on top, and White has to capture. And at this point, Black must take. If Black doesn't take, if Black plays somewhere else, like for example here, then imagine if White connects, then these two groups are in trouble again. You have to kind of predict it. Like imagine if Black played here, then this two White group is again in trouble. So I think the idea is that Black has to take, and then White has to kind of add one more move to make itself as strong as possible. But actually, this is not the end of the road for Black, because Black still has things like this. And notice how this still Black can fight Ko. So this group is actually not fully dead. So under this variation, Black would be slightly behind, but it's still playable. I think it's around 30-70 according to AI because
Yeah,
Black's got
it's almost even really.
yeah. So it's
But it's a lot. It's a lot better than what like this is basically the AI suggested path.
yeah. So this would be Choi Jong's best choice because actually, even though this group is weak, is if Choi Jong can fight this code and somehow can connect back or win this code, either way, it's just easier for Choi Jong to play. So I've shown two variations. I think both of them are good for white. If Choi Jong had played here, but I think even if had Choi Jong played here, it would still be playable for both sides. It's just a bit complicated.
Yeah, at the like before Choi Jong played D6, the game had been even all game. It was a very even game.
Yeah.
Still very much in the balance. But really after D6, it was just it ended up just being the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And Choi Jong's game sort of fell apart quite quickly after that.
Yeah, so Sim played really beautifully here. I think Sim had just better judgment in this case. He kind of just realized that this would be the right move and just give up this side. And Choi Jong did play here.
Yeah, I mean, here. And then there was obviously a ko on the left.
Yeah.
Like in the end, I think Choi Jong actually won the ko.
Right.
And she actually captured the entire left-hand side.
Yes.
But at the expense of
this group being dead.
Yeah, that group there, and that was just way too much.
Yeah, so that's why I think Sim just had really good judgment, played really well here because I'm not sure if even at his level he can read out all the variations. I mean, Black does look very strong, but I'm just not sure if you can guarantee to kill White. I guess I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe. But whatever happened, as it progressed, Choi Jong ended up using this White group as code threats.
But you'll also see that Sim you can see Sim Jaeik actually used the top left as code threats as well.
So I guess if you look at it, this does look much bigger than this, I guess. And I think the after this group is dead, right? I think that's not the reason that Choi Jong resigned. It also look at what happened at the end. Just fast forward. So this whole group is dead. And Black managed to, because after killing this group, Black becomes thick. I noticed all of these white stones here, they're not alive. I mean, they may not die, but they just...
No, they probably won't die, but they're just gonna lose. It's just gonna lose so much.
Yeah.
There's Black has too many points.
Yeah. So basically
already.
Yeah. And so this is the point at which Choi Jong resigned, and I just played a couple more moves just to show, because this white group is not alive, because say if White plays here, then Black obviously can just play here to destroy this eye. So if White makes this eye, then Black can play here and destroy this eye. So this white group is pure dead. So I think at this point Choi Jong decided it wasn't worth trying. That's maybe just not enough for White to do. Even if this white group lose, Black will gain too much from it. So that's when Choi Jong resigned. But I think it all stemmed from this part where Choi Jong just possibly thought that this was Sente and didn't play the wedge first, and just lost this way.
But as you say, excellent judgment by Sim Jaeik, who is in the form of his life. I think that now puts his 2022 record at 19-3.
That's crazy. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So possibly a mistake. I think that's what Choi Jong thought, but hey, we never know. Maybe it's just too hard. The assessment is always the hardest part about these games. So anyway, that's how Choi Jeong lost. And Choi Jeong got a wild card to go into the Minjun as well. I think she might have just missed out in the final round, qualifying or something. Or I can't remember.
I don't remember. I don't think she lost in the final round. I think she lost
Right.
earlier than that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, in this Minjun, we still have Park Junghwan to come. We still have Kim Ji-sok. We still have Shin Jinseo. So Shin Jinseo is expected to win the winner section at 68%, and even Byun Sang-il, who's out, will still have a chance to win the Myungin. He's in the losers section. So so all round pretty good coverage of this. I'm really looking forward to Myungin.
I just want to confirm that Kim Seongjin is actually Blackie.
Yes.
Who runs that? He runs a Go school with Diana Koshegi, the Hungarian professional.
Yep.
That's pretty insane. That he managed to qualify for the Myounghoon.
Yeah, he's the oldest at 48. So well done.
Yeah, and he made the semi-final of the Samsung Cup, I believe.
Right.
I think it was maybe in 1998.
Right. Yep. It's done pretty well. Yep.
He's a legend.
Yeah. For running. Yep. Okay. So, that's the Myungin covered, and we then have the GX Caltex Cup in Korea.
It was 1997. Sorry, my mistake. He actually made the semi-final of the Samsung Cup in 1997. But yes, onto the GS Caltex Cup. So this week we had the quarterfinals.
Right. So I think there was one game where
we had two quarterfinals because we already played two quarterfinals last week. I believe.
Right. So we have Park Jin-seo play Cho Wang-kyu, and we
already did that one actually.
Okay, is that right? Okay, and then we had Byung Sang-yu play Park Hamin.
Yeah, that was an interesting game.
Yep.
Most of it happened in Byoyomi, but there was basically life and death status of a group. I think Byun Sangil was well ahead, and then suddenly the AI said that his group was in trouble.
Yeah. Byun Sang-il ended up winning this game. So I think I was a little bit surprised. Maybe I'm not very good at just this assessment, but Byun Sang-il had this huge group died, but it was still very playable for both sides. So it was just like a sacrifice. You see how this black group died? That's Byun Sang-il. So even at this point, I believe it was very close by AI's assessment. And we'll see what happened to this group later on. It's very dramatic, I would say. So they keep playing. It was a reasonably fighty game, if I remember correctly. Like even
it was a very fighty game.
Yeah, it was like they even started a fight here. It's just nuts. So you thought that the white group here is not 100% alive.
That's
pushed
right.
Through, and black group also not alive, just running around. So it's really interesting, like how Park Hamin just push and cut here, and Byung Sang-il still managed to try and come out.
So see those three white stones?
Yeah.
So just before that, so no, go to move 115.
115, yep.
So those three white stones there in the middle.
Yeah.
So they should be dead, right? Well,
they can Atari out if they want to.
But he doesn't do that. He plays. So go one move ahead. So now, so black should just capture those three white stones.
Yep. Extend and just connect. Yep.
Oh, just connect.
Yeah.
Just connecting is fine.
Yep.
But black doesn't do that. Black
cuts.
Yeah. Gets a bit greedy.
Yeah.
And white can actually, I think white can actually now not only save those stones.
Right.
But as a result, put black's stones in trouble.
Yeah.
So go forward with what white does.
White Atari comes out.
Yeah, there.
Ooh.
So now not only are those white stones harder to capture,
Yeah.
But the black stones on the upper left of it, those 10 black stones,
Yeah.
they're potentially dead. Like, they're potentially in trouble now.
Yes. Yes.
Like, before those 3 white stones were dead and buried, black could have just killed them off, and black would have had the advantage. But now we don't know.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So black cuts, Hane. Yes, I remember. Oh,
it's very hard to determine. And now is that a code?
It's a code to well, of course, black at any time can Atari here and capture these 2 white stones.
Oh yeah. But, it's not so it's not a code for the life of the group, but it is a code.
It's a code. Yeah.
It's a very important code.
Yeah, so they keep going. Okay, black plays here. Yeah, I just remember watching this. It was just at some point it got really nuts. Okay, so black changed off the code.
Yeah, I think at some point, like you really have to count your liberties.
yes. So I was really surprised when the thing happened. So okay, push through, and play here. Okay, I believe if I remember correctly, this is where supposedly Park Hamin made a mistake. This move actually reduces his liberties.
Yes.
I think AI suggests he should Atari from here. And you see that actually...
Or even just playing above that black stone.
Just here, yeah. And then Hane out, and then Hane out, yeah. So I think the way he played reduced his own liberty, because when black connects, there's 1 less liberty. You see what...
Exactly.
That actually turns out to be really crucial. Like, and Sangil, I believe, was supposed to be losing, and he just found his chance here. Like, this move is beautiful. You'll see what happens later on. So that, and then Park Hamin played here, maybe threatening to push and cut, but he really has no time to do it because his liberty is so tight. Look what Sangil did. Just it's so tight. The liberties here. Atari. Yes. So something nuts is gonna happen very soon. So. Of course, with this move, and white can't capture this stone anymore just because of this. So that's why it's beautiful. And then, bang! It came back to life.
Yeah.
That's just nuts. It's a nutty kind of fighting game, and I think the game would end very soon. I believe, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, about a dozen more moves. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Like
so now that black group in the bottom, those black stones in the bottom left, they're now alive.
Yeah, they're now alive. and I think
white resigned here.
White. This white group might be in trouble. So overall, very very nuts. Can't believe it's this just happened. And I think Park Hamin, if Park Hamin had played correctly there, it would be his game. But it was just one mistake.
Yeah. Again, just want to mention that at this point, both players had to make every move in 60 seconds.
Yeah. So pretty impressive. But I remember watching this game. It was very entertaining. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, the other game just happened today. I just
want to mention this game was actually happening at the same time as the Choi Jaeik game.
Right.
So yeah.
But
back to the GS Caltex Cup. Another game just finished. It was the last quarterfinal.
Yeah. So it's between. It
was between the the winner of the past 4 GS Caltex Cups, Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
Who's on a 49-6 record for 2022.
Yeah.
Against Sungjoon, who has played Shin Jinseo 7 times previously and has lost all 7.
Yeah, and you had a prediction before the game, didn't you?
I remember telling you, I told you in on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That I was going to call this this would be the time when Shin Jinseo would lose. This would be his shock loss.
Yeah, but
not only was I wrong, but he wasn't even close to losing at all in this game. It was almost it almost felt like he got a bye to the semi-final. It's a bit harsh. Sungjoon is a very, very good player, much better than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
But Shin Jinseo had no difficulty in
Yeah.
in winning this game.
Yeah, it wasn't even close, and I had honestly I had trouble finding out where where they had gone wrong for Seongjin. It feels like Shin Jinseo just played some move and somehow
I do think maybe when Black played at the bottom there,
this one
when he tanuki'd no at the 9-3 point.
9-3 point.
Yes, I believe maybe he needed to play one more move up the top.
Right.
So if you go back,
Yeah.
There. So at move 48, I think Black maybe needed to play one more move.
Yeah, just to protect the cut and put more pressure on these two stones.
Yeah. But instead, he tanuki'd.
Yeah.
It wasn't a massive mistake. I don't think An Sung-joon made any massive mistakes. It was just Shin Jinseo just played.
Yeah.
Was too clinical.
Yeah. When I was watching the game, I was like, what just happened? Like, Shin Jinseo just played these innocuous looking moves, and after a while, its AI just like had him at 90%. Like even at this point, I believe he's already at 90%. And I just wasn't exactly sure what Black had done like so wrong. You know, kind of it's just not maybe just my level, but it just wasn't clear. And actually, it turns out that this Black group actually looks a lot weaker than it looks. I thought this Black was okay, but you see what happened to it at the end. Like
the white group. I actually thought the white group on the left was pretty weak, but
yeah, no, it turns out not.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, what I noticed about this white group was that this clamp here, just clamping here, it's actually Sente, because the next move you can capture this Black Sun. So
exactly.
We can assume White has one eye somewhere around here and one eye here. So White is actually surprisingly thick, strong in that point. And then you start fighting, and Shin Jinseo just seems to know exactly where to go. Like all the move he makes just makes it so painful for Black, and then Aki connects, and how Black connects, and it plays one more move here, and Black tries to cause some trouble. White says, "Nah, you don't even have one eye," right? And Black says, "Okay, I'm gonna capture your middle," and then White goes, "Okay," and then Black says, "I want to move out. You can't capture me." And then White goes, "Are you sure?" It's got Miyai, and then go, "Okay, I'm gonna capture your middle." Bang. Now suddenly this Black group is in trouble. Like not trouble because I think, but it just feels so effortless. Like White has just played some moves and then forces.
I wanted to show you something here. So here at this point here, Black still doesn't have two eyes.
No. So
Shin Jinseo can play at the 1-4 point.
Like here.
Right, but what does Shin Jinseo do?
He
just lets Black live.
Yeah.
So he just lets Black live.
Yeah.
Because he's already Shin Jinseo has already judged the position to be completely winning for White. He doesn't need to kill Black.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just crazy. Like, the way that Shin Jinseo plays, just like all these moves, they just and he just won. He's just completely winning. It's just I don't know what to say. It's crazy.
There's really not many players that can just win so effortlessly. Like I don't even understand how he made. I guess that's typical.
Yeah.
That's probably basic pro level stuff that he managed to make White live in the top right.
Yeah.
So that's probably not too crazy, but
I think Shin Jinseo made it look easy. You know. Like,
there's really not that there's really very few players that make the game look as effortless as this.
Yeah, so it's this game in Chinese social media was described as a total victory for Shin Jinseo, so it's just no chance for An at all.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So that puts him in the semi-finals. So
finals.
We've got the semi-finals set up, and we've got the top three players in Korea.
Yeah.
Park Junghwan and Byun Sangil, they'll be playing each other in the semi-final. And Shin Jinseo will be playing Park Jin Seol.
Yeah. Well, might as well, because Park Jin Seol beat Shin Minjun, so
so it could have almost been
top four kind of thing.
But
happen.
But anyway, Park Jin-sol, I do remember. I think he played Shin Minjun in one of the playoffs for the Baduk League.
Yeah.
But I do remember that he beat Shin Jinseo in the Maxim Cup last year.
Yes, that's right. That the whole reason I remember Park Jin-sol's name was because I knew that he beat Shin Jinseo in one of the competitions.
Yes. Yeah, it was last year's Maxim Cup. It would have been a half-point win, but Shin Jinseo resigned.
Yeah. So,
but I do believe that they've played it at least once, probably more than once since then, and Shin Jinseo has not lost Park Jin-sol since.
No. So,
and they're having another game
in the semi-final, GX
Caltex.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. But honestly, obviously, Shin Jinseo is expected to win that one.
It could be a repeat of last year's final between Shin Jinseo and Byun Sangil.
Yep. And that would be a best of 5, is that right?
The GS Caltex Cup is indeed a best of 5.
Yes.
The semi-finals are single game knockouts, but the final is a best of 5.
Yes. Okay, so, So, looking forward to...
Also, that's actually Shin Jinseo's 50th win for the year.
Oh, wow, yes, that's right.
50 wins already. Yeah.
That's just crazy. Shows you the dominance of Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the GX Caltex Cup, and I think I was really looking forward to just covering the YK Construction Cup this week.
I'm looking forward to this as well.
Yeah. So where shall we start? Shall we start with the just start with the
let's see what the biggest game was. The first big game this week in the YK Construction Cup. So this week started on the 2nd, didn't it?
Yeah. So I think the first
first big game was Park Junghwan and Kim Myounghoon.
Kim Myounghoon. So this game was big because prior to this game, it was a 4-horse race, wasn't it?
Yes, Park Junghwan, Kang Dongyun, Shin Jinseo, and Kim Myounghoon.
They all have a chance of making the top two, which would then go into a final. But Kim Myounghoon before this game had already lost 2 games, so it's a must win. Park Junghwan had lost 1 game before this, but Park ended up beating Kim, so that means Kim is out.
Yes, Park Junghwan had already just beaten Kim Myounghoon, I believe, in the GS Caltex Cup.
Yep.
Previous week. So this was their second game in 2 weeks, and Park Junghwan won both. And as you say, this loss, this eliminated Kim Myounghoon from top 2, from the chance of finishing in the top 2.
Yep.
It turned. 3 losses was going to be not good enough.
No.
For top 2 in the YK Construction Cup.
Yep.
Still an incredible, a really strong performance by Kim Myounghoon, who did qualify for this tournament. And his 5 wins so far include a win against Shin Jinseo. In fact, that's Shin Jinseo's most recent loss.
Yeah.
But alas, his chances ended in the penultimate round. It was a fairly a fairly comprehensive victory, I think.
Yep.
For Park Junghwan. It wasn't that memorable a game. Certainly not as memorable as some of the games we've already gone over in this podcast.
Sure. But I do remember this point in the game. I think this is when things start to go wrong for Kim Myounghoon.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah. So on move 66, Kim Myounghoon
made a dumpling of himself.
Filled in the code, which I thought was really strange.
Yeah.
But our very strong friend, he says this is an understandable move. I think because now White.
There's a cut here and White has a Hane under, so.
Yeah, and they're both Sente now, or something like that.
Yeah, but Yeah, and then after black connects, so white only has the Hane under, but of course a white can still jump in, so it's sacrificable. But I think it's sort of the beginning of the end. It ends up being, so Shin Minjun, so it wasn't that memorable, but I do believe it was very, very interesting at the end as well. It was a very interesting game.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the first big one. Kim is out, and then we have the next big one.
The next big one was the next game, Kang Dongyun versus Kim Sedong.
Now this game is big because Kang before this game had only lost once to Shin Jinseo.
Yes.
And if Kang Dongyun wins this one, then he's guaranteed a top 2 spot.
Yes.
Doesn't he? And he did beat Kim Sedong.
Yes.
This one. Yeah.
The reason why Kang Dongyun is guaranteed a top 2 spot. Well, let's go over the game first.
Yeah. Do you remember anything from this game?
No, I don't remember anything at all from. Oh no! I remember that he just completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Kim Sedong. I think.
It's completely destroyed.
Oh, I remember looking at it at move 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what are white stones at the top doing? Like they had no base. I mean.
Yeah, 2 of them, 2 groups.
I mean, obviously these are pros, so it's not as bad as I would anticipate. But it just doesn't look. It looks like he's got 2 weak groups that are just.
Yeah.
Struggling to make 2 eyes.
Yeah. And I think it you know what it looks like. Obviously, this black corner is much bigger than this white corner. This black corner is bigger than this white corner, and it looks like that white should have set up a war here and a war here for influence, and then made some territory in the middle, and that would kind of balance everything out. But black's got this thick group in the middle that's just destroyed all of white's territory in the middle. That's what it looks like to me visually, and also the white groups are not terribly alive.
When I looked at it with the AI sort of does give black a convincing advantage.
Yeah. I think it ended up being that this white group was threatened or something. Yeah. So this. The game ended really, really quickly, 111 moves. I'm not sure if this white group is going to die, but I think it's at this point, like this corner is huge, this corner is decent, probably bigger than this
Black
corner.
just has too many points.
Yeah, and this white corner probably not as big as this. There's no other white territory. So even if this white group lives, it's just not enough. Basically, that's what it looks like. And basically Kim Sedong decided enough is enough, and basically handed the victory to Kang, and now Kang is basically guaranteed a top 2 spot in the league.
And the reason why, if you go back to that table,
right, let's go back to the table.
Just want to quickly explain why. So Kang Dongyun, so with that win, he actually goes to 7 wins.
Yep.
Can you go to the table where it had Kang Dong? Yeah.
8 wins.
So Shin Jinseo is behind by 1 win. But Shin Jinseo beat Kang Dongyun. So if Shin Jinseo wins his last game, he can finish ahead of Kang Dongyun.
Right. Yep.
Park Junghwan is behind Kang Dongyun because Kang Dongyun won their matchup.
Right.
So Park Junghwan, to finish ahead of Kang Dongyun, he would need to win his game.
Right.
So, but the thing is, Shin Jinseo and Park Junghwan can't both finish ahead of Kang Dongyun because they're playing each other.
That's the last game.
In the last game, so they can't both win.
Yeah.
So therefore, only one of them can potentially finish ahead of Kang Dongyun.
Yeah.
And so Kang Dongyun is guaranteed top 2. Of course, if Kang Dongyun wins his last game, he's guaranteed to win the league. He's guaranteed to finish first.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The top 2 makes the final. If you come first or second, you get no advantage in the final.
Right. Yep.
So since he's top 2 already,
yep.
He's guaranteed a spot in the final. And literally, the winner, You couldn't script this better. The winner of the final game between Shin Jinseo and Park Junghwan will determine who is the other finalist.
Yeah. So that will be it. Make for a really exciting YK Construction game, Cup final game. So that kind of like from a 4-horse race this week, it became a 3-horse race. Actually, no, it's a 1 horse is confirmed. It's just kind of like become like 2-horse race for the other spot, and that's not the only climax of YK Construction Cup this week, because we have another massive game, probably the game of the week. Eunji, we were writing her off. We were saying she's not gonna get 1 win. When I say we, I'm using the royal we, meaning just myself. But
I did think she had a chance to beat Won Seongjin.
Yeah.
Just because of his struggles.
Yeah. So much
recently.
Could it be the time control that's throwing Won Seongjin? I'm not sure, but basically before Won Seongjin and Kim Eunji's game, Weon had only 1 win in this league, and that would put him just above Kim Eunji at 0 wins, right? And their last game in the league happens to be facing each other. So the bottom 2 players play each other. Weon play Kim, and even though we weren't expecting a Kim Eunji victory, she did come out victorious, didn't she?
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. Oh no, I watched it a little bit, but not much.
Yeah. So okay, I just want to point out three moments in the game where I thought was just crazy. So, firstly, Kim Eunji is white and Won Seongjin is black. Won Seongjin, I believe, is kind of, I guess, famous for his fighting power, but Kim Eunji just wasn't afraid of him. Just cut when she wanted. And after this fight, Kim Eunji actually captured his black group. So that's thing number 1. So Kim Eunji just wasn't afraid of fighting Won Seongjin. So like she had good fighting spirit. I believe this is the first move where Won Seongjin kind of started to fall behind. Apparently this move is Gote, because even if black play one more move, white still has this captured. So that's possibly mistake number 1 or questionable move number 1. And now I want to show you 2 other moments. I think it got pretty fighty, and basically AI just says Won Seongjin has made the wrong choice at a few places. So, but it was still very fighting game. But I want to just show you 2 moves that I thought just kind of memorable for me. Again, here it's another crazy fight here where Kim Eunji actually, as white, actually came out on top as well. Like it broke all of black's territory, even though black had played all of these stones trying to protect this group. But Kim just broke through. Again, wins points for herself. But that's still not the moves that I really wanted to talk about. I think there were just 2 moves that I thought was very memorable for me. It's kind of like the winning moves. Now, first move, okay, this is probably the second one. It just makes a long stick, destroying black's eyes. That's move number 1. And I believe here's the second one. Here's the second one. Makes another stick. So these 2 moves feels like to me is just Kim Eunji giving the middle finger to Won Seongjin. But yeah, it like Kim Eunji really impressed me. Not because she plays so well. I wouldn't be strong enough to assess how well she played, but just the fact that she wasn't afraid of to fight Won Seongjin and come out on top a couple of times, and then just had these 2 moves where it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the finger. Just beautiful. She ended up killing Black's dragon. So Black's dragon's dead. So yeah, this whole dragon's dead. And Won Seongjin resigned here because just became hopeless at this point. White's got take and also Hane here. So it's just too much for Black to handle. But yeah, that was probably the most memorable game of the week for me. Kim Eunji.
Game of the week.
Game of the week, beating Won Seongjin. This big one.
So I do want to I do want to point out a couple of things here. So
Yeah,
that means that not only does Kim Eunji get a win,
Yeah.
but she actually finishes ninth.
yeah,
She actually finishes ahead of Won Seongjin because the tie break is the head-to-head record.
correct. So this table is not 100% correct because it's using Sodos as the tiebreaker, but actually it should be head to head.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
But I just want to mention some other thing, and it's regarding something that we discussed last week.
Right.
You mentioned a Chinese podcast that
Yeah.
had the rumor that Shin Jinseo didn't feel that felt that Choi Jeong should have been picked instead of Kim Eunji.
Yeah.
Well, I read an article on the Korean Baduk Association website
Right.
that seemed to indicate that the sponsors, YK
Right.
Construction, specifically requested that the two wildcards selected be young players,
Yes, I do recall that. Yes.
which would seem to suggest to me that the Shin Jinseo comments are unlikely to have ever happened.
Right. Right.
Because it doesn't really make sense that he would complain about something that
Yep.
something that the sponsors have specifically requested.
Yeah.
I think they even requested that one of them would to be a female if possible.
Yep. Yep.
And Kim Eunji was really the only choice. I mean, there are players like Jin,
Yep.
but Kim Eunji was definitely the most logical choice. I think they wanted specifically young players, but also players that did well in the qualifiers, like they got deep in the qualifiers.
Right. Yep.
But also young.
Yep.
And so I think it's very unlikely that Shin Jinseo ever made such comments.
Right. Right.
That's my take on it. But yeah, it seemed all along that the two wildcards were going to be young players, and I think Han Woo-jin, he really he lost his last game. I think it was against Kim Myounghoon.
Yeah.
But he really had a good solid performance and really took advantage of his opportunity to compete against some of the strongest players in Korea.
Yep.
Kim Eunji, she got the experience, and she did end up winning a game in the end. It's never too late to win your first game.
Yep.
Like a win is a win, and she'll be like if this tournament continues, she'll be back.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to seeing her continue to do well, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. This win is great. It's great for her. But yeah. So I guess still lots to look at in the YK Construction Cup.
I think there may only. How many games left are there? I think there may only be two games left now.
3 games left. Yeah.
3 games? No, I think the Kim Se-dong Ryu Min-hyun game actually already happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Right. I might have missed that. Okay. So yeah. So
it's an inconsequential game.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can quickly find out who won it though.
Yeah. I might have. It might be if it's happened. It might be on. Pro Weiqi actually. So let's just see.
I'm just quickly trying to find it. I actually Ryu Min-hyun won. Ryu Min-hyun won. I think he won by. Let me just quickly check. 2.5 points.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so that's a wrap for the YK Construction Cup. Looking forward to the final game, and of course also the final. And we're finally leaving the Korea and going into a little bit of Japan territory, and we have another 1,000 win player.
Yeah, another big milestone here. We recently had a 1,000 win achievement in Kim Soo-jang 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden we've got another one, this time from Japan. Yamada Kimio, 1,000 wins.
Yay.
And this guy's actually, he's not unexpected, but this guy's, a pretty well-known player. He, I don't know when he turned pro. I think maybe something like 1992 or something like that. Maybe I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can quickly find out when he turned pro.
Yep.
He plays. He's a Nihon Kihin player. Oh, damn! Why?
Yeah. I mean, I do remember Yamada Kimio. I think I think the thing I remember about him the most was that he made a final of an international.
Yes, so he turned pro in 1989.
Right. Yeah.
But he actually back in those times you could play in the rookie, like in Japan you can play in the Rookie King, basically the Rookie of the Year championship multiple times, and he won it in 1997.
Yep.
And crazily enough, he actually won a major that very same year. He won the Urza title.
Right.
Which is like the fourth biggest major in Japan. He won that in 1997 as well. He also won the Ryusei.
Yep.
He won that in 1999. That's like the Yongseong, the Korean Yongseong, but in the Japanese version.
Yep.
And he also won the NHK Cup, which is Japan's biggest sort of invitational. He won that in 2010. But you are right, he did make a final. He made the final of the Samsung Cup in 2000. So I think that was the fourth Samsung Cup. No, the fifth one. He made the final of the fifth Samsung Cup. So he beat he actually beat Won Seongjin in the first round of that Samsung Cup in 2000.
Oh wow.
That was 22 years ago, so that shows you how long Won Seongjin's been a top player. Won Seongjin was actually only 15 years old at the time.
Yeah.
But Yamada Kimio beat him. He beat Rui Nawe, the greatest women's player of all time, in the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And he beat Seo Bong-soo in the semifinal.
Right.
But he lost in the final 3-1 to Yoo Chang-hyuk.
Yeah.
But the previous year, in 1999, he actually made the semi-final of the Samsung Cup.
Yeah.
That time, he beat Yoo Chang-hyuk in the second round, but he lost to Lee Chang-ho in the semi-final.
Right.
And Lee Chang-ho went on to win that Samsung Cup. So he made one semi-final and he made a final. So that's pretty good.
Yep, and he won a title in Japan, of course, the Osa.
Yeah, the Osa, and like I said, he also won the Ryusei and the NHK Cup.
Yep.
So he's quite an accomplished player. He's actually played less than 1,500 games, so he's won more than 2/3 of his games.
Yep, that's pretty. Win.
That's a very, very strong win record.
Yep.
He also has two brothers.
Right.
Shiho Yamada, 7 dan, and the late Wakio Yamada, 8 dan.
Right.
Just he's a very, very good player, and most people that have been following professional Japanese Go should have heard of him.
Yeah.
100%. He hasn't just competed in the Samsung Cup. He's competed in many other international tournaments. He hasn't made any other semi-finals, but he's competed in the Fujitsu Cup, the LG Cup, Chunan Cup. Lots of tournaments.
Right.
Won 1,000 games. Regardless of what he's achieved, winning 1,000 games is very, very difficult to do. You can't do it simply just by playing a lot. You have to actually to even play enough games to win 1,000, you have to be winning a lot of those games.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Other thing should also mention he actually challenged for the Haninbo in 2006.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
He lost to Takao Shinji,
Yep.
another 1,000 win player.
Yep.
But yeah, very, very strong player.
Yep.
Not many I can't find many pictures of him online.
Right. Yeah.
He seems to. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be someone that they take a lot of pictures of. But I guess a lot of his, many of his achievements were sort of in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to him. He's the 30th Japanese player to reach 1,000 wins, and from my count, the 43rd professional.
Yep. So yeah, congrats, and hope to see more 1,000 win players in the future.
I think in Japan, I'm not sure who the next one in line is, but we will let you know if another Japanese player gets to 1,000.
100%. Yeah. Maybe Yamayuta.
Well, for those wondering, does a Yamayuta have 1,000 wins? No, he doesn't. He's actually only at 768.
Right. I guess you need the time to kind of do it.
The thing is, yeah, he's still in his early 30s.
Yep.
And the other thing is that he doesn't actually play that many games anymore.
Yeah.
He's because in Japan all of the major titles operate under a title holder and challenger system. If you're the title holder, you don't play any games in that major except for the title match.
That's right.
And so you can only if you hold the title, you can only win at most 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and then you retain it. Yeah.
So just simply by virtue of him being so good, he's not winning that many games.
Yeah.
He also hasn't won a lot of games internationally either.
Yeah.
So it could take. I think it will take for Iyama. It'll probably be another 6 or 7 years before he even gets close to 1,000 games.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be the next Japanese player to get to 1,000 games.
All right. Okay, let's see.
But let's see.
Yeah. So shall we? I honestly cannot recall what had happened with the North Transatlantic League. Whether we
we have to talk. We need to talk about the Transatlantic League. So what happened last time? We discussed the quarterfinal results.
Yep.
And that was that Ilya Shikshin had won and Artem Kachanovsky had won.
Yep.
Which meant that the semifinals were Ryan Lee versus Ilya Shikshin.
Yep.
And Kevin Yang versus Artem Kachanovsky. So now let's discuss the semi-final results.
Yes. So basically, Ryan Lee beat Ilya Shikshin 2-0, and Kevin Yang beat Artem Kachanovsky 2-0 as well. So
yeah, and I think that that means Ryan Lee will be playing Kevin Yang in the final.
In the final,
and I think that this is the most deserved and the most anticipated final.
Yeah.
Possible.
And also notice how, there's a 1P next to Kevin Yang's name now.
Yeah, that's right, because Kevin Yang is a pro, as we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And I think those games against Artem, maybe they're his first official games as a professional.
Yeah, so
just to mention, Ryan Lee and Kevin Yang, they were clearly the two form players of this tournament. Both of them won all 4 of their matches in the group stage. No one else won more than 2.
Yep.
So Ilya Shikshin, he's already tried and lost against Kevin Yang.
Yep.
So I was, didn't want to root for one player or the other, but I did want to see Ryan Lee and Kevin Yang play in the final, because when you've got 2 players that seem to be unbeatable, you want to pit them against each other to see who's the most unbeatable.
Yep.
And also, at the moment, it does look like Ryan Lee is cemented himself as the strongest player outside the Asian organizations.
Yep.
And really, the only person that seems to be capable of challenging him at the moment is Kevin Yang.
Yeah. It's really crazy. I mean, I did go through all 4 games, but I just want to show you some highlights of some of the games, if I may. So this is Ryan Lee versus Ilya Shikshin. I believe this is the first game. White is Ryan, black is Ilya. So look at this point. I think Ryan was kind of deciding on what to do because he can move out with the white stone. But of course, if white doesn't harness, then black can connect under. So Ryan Lee decided on a really beautiful move here. Just peep at this point and just play the harness outside, give up these 2 stones. And I think Ryan Lee had red, and he decided to put it out here. And of course, black has to cut, otherwise, why are you giving me this cut point? So black cuts, and then Ryan Lee just jumped. It feels like Ryan Lee has already all of this calculated. You see how this move that he peeped a long time ago?
It's now the RG.
Yeah, he makes use of it. It's just beautiful. I think he's already seen this kind of eventuality when he kind of played here.
Why can't Black Atari at S14 now?
S14.
After
capture this one.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to move out this one first.
No. If you play along.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And then now what happens? Now what happens if black plays at S14 now?
Oh yeah, black can definitely do that. But I think white's got this cut point and pull down here. So there's a lot of things that white can do.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Still like tons of RG.
Yeah, so tons of stuff. But he kind of makes use of this move that he kind of planned a long time ago. And yeah, so I think that's one moment I remember about this game. And I want to show you both of the Kevin Yang's game. I think in both of them there were some crazy, well, I wouldn't say crazy, but kind of very memorable moments in that one. So this is Kevin Yang versus Artem. So Kevin is white in this game. Let's just show you the moments. So this is the first moment. So you see how white is blocked the inside, and after some reading, white decides to Tanuki, right? And Artem, we thought, oh, this is my chance, and kind of play this move. Now imagine if black didn't play here. Black, at a minimum can play this, right? So that's got some point. And later on there's still this move, right? So at a minimum, if black play on the outside, they can reduce some of white's territory. But you see, Artem decided, no, that's not what I want. He decided to play on the inside, and I think just Kevin Yang just had such good reading, like he just killed his group. He killed his group, and basically, yeah. So black actually lost quite a few points versus my first.
Is that Seki?
This is black is dead. Black is dead. Yeah.
Ooh.
Black is dead. So black lost quite a few points.
Oh yeah.
So that's moment number 1. Incredible reading. I believe this game's time controls are very fast. So Kevin Yang had set really impeccable reading there. And I think there's another moment later on in the game, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So later on. So I think by this point, but according to AI, Kevin Yang's already leading, and then at this point, Kevin Yang, just decides to play this Sente move, which blocks off this black group. Yeah. Just do more Sente here. Just pipped inside, and just ended up killing this group again.
Oh wow!
Freaking! It's just really good reading. Very accurate. Black had no chance. Black's dead.
I do recall that Kevin Yang, it was Kevin Yang's misreading against Artem that caused his only loss so far in this Transatlantic Cup.
And in this one, you can feel. I feel that Ryan Lee just completely outreading Artem.
Yeah, Kevin Yang.
Yeah, Kevin Yang. Yes. So I think in game 2 there was also something similar that happened. Not this time, not killing a group, but I believe it's also just showcases, like Kevin's play. So in this game, Kevin's black. Yes. So first he just clamp, just annoying. So Artem not gonna give it away. So he kind of comes down, and the way he played when he clamped, the way he played, he read here. He kind of just played in such a way that it's just like his black groups are kind of precarious, but you feel like he's always in control. Like it just completely outreads white here.
Yeah, it just feels like white's just so uncomfortable on the right there.
And you know when Kevin played here, he knows that this is a dead shape, but this is the one that gives him the most amount of liberties because it's like a 5, a corner 5. Yeah, so just and it just brutalizes this white group. Even though this is a dead shape, white is dead before he dies. Just completely outreads Artem. It feels like that's what it feels like.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, just crazy stuff. So those are the highlights for the 2 games. I'll see if I record the highlight for the second game between Ryan Lee and Ilya. I think I probably should record something, but I'm really looking forward to the final just because of Ryan and Kevin's performance in this. It's just really impressive. So in this game, Ryan is white and Ilya is black. So so black tries to make this territory in the middle. It cuts through Taris.
I mean, that looks pretty good for black so far.
Yeah, so black is Ryan.
So, black is Ryan.
Black's Ryan. So so even though Ilya kind of just pushes through here, it was okay. Look at this. This is the moment. This is the highlight for me. So he attaches. Okay, come on. He tries to make. Ilya tries to block it off, and then he hanes. And then when Ilya Taris, he plays elsewhere. Like just play attachment here.
He does another attachment.
Yeah, and then he comes back. And then he doesn't connect back. He cuts here. And then does this attachment. And he dares to hane out. And now he just completely destroyed White's territory here and comes out in the middle. This doesn't, and I think there's some crazy stuff there as well after this. Atari makes this group alive, and he does this beautiful cut, probe, and then gets a sente move. That's not all. He plays some more stuff here, and you think this black group is kind of in trouble, but Ryan Lee says, "Nah, not really." See, Ilya Shikshin tries really hard destroying this bottom eye, but just comes out beautifully.
Oh, is that connected now?
You can't really. I don't remember all the variation, but I don't think it can do anything. So he even gives up these 3 white stones and just play like this.
Yeah, I think black has surely far more territory now.
Well, because black just come in and destroy this part. He's willing to give up these 3 stones, and this is a really humiliating back down for Ilya here. After deciding for a bit, even doing a time Suji, decides, I can only pull back. Just these 2 stones are dead. It's a bit, but this time it's a bit painful. But I just thought Ryan Lee just played beautifully here and here. Just even without going through all the variation.
Yeah, that's really good local play.
Just crazy. I think Ryan Lee deserved to win this series for sure. So did Kevin. Like just based on all the things I've read, and all that. When I had to run the analysis with AI, it just completely
Yeah,
destroyed
I'm
them.
not sure. Ilya seems to be a little bit out of form at the moment.
Yeah, I believe he might be in his getting into his mid-30s, so maybe
Oh, he's been around for a long
yeah.
time, yes.
So
But I mean, he played in the Toyota Denso Cup back in the mid
right,
2000s.
right,
But
yeah,
no, I think he played a little bit below his best.
right, yeah,
But Ryan, I think Ryan, yeah, Ryan Lee thoroughly deserved it either way.
yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to this final. I'll try and give a tip. I
All
think
right,
Ryan Lee will win this.
all right, yeah. I mean, definitely more experience, and yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, I it's very hard to pick because they haven't played each other before, and it's really hard to know Kevin like how good Kevin Yang is.
Yep.
Like he did beat Ilya Shikshin, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Lee is also, really strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do think that Ryan Lee is
Yeah.
is going to be the one to stop Kevin Yang.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, obviously Ryan Lee played very impressively. Even I believe in the most recent international comp, might be the Chunlan Cup.
Chunlan Cup.
I think he
Yeah,
pushed Lee Xuanhao to the limit.
Yeah, he didn't win, but it was a good game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Lee Xuanhao they were neck and neck until well into the middle game. So Ryan Lee is definitely very, very strong.
Yes.
So and also I believe this weekend will be the third place playoff first, and then the next weekend will be the final. I believe that's how it works.
Oh, they're not both this weekend?
I would have thought that they one after the other, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well,
We'll try to figure it out at some point.
we'll let you know by the next podcast.
Yeah.
What the results
Yeah,
are that we get.
what it was. But okay, so that's a wrap for this episode and also for the Transatlantic Cup, I guess.
Actually, can we just mention so there have been a couple of Japanese Meijin and Kisei S League games.
Yep.
We don't have to go over them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because neither of those leagues are close to finishing.
Yeah, or get into the the business end of things. But they're all listed on Weiqi.
Yeah,
should be able to
but
find
can we just quickly mention the news about the Chinese Yi League?
Yes, I actually had three things I picked out that I wanted to maybe quickly discuss.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that you had it. So
yeah, so the Chinese Yi League, I think I was just too lazy to list down all the teams, but most of the players are not really that famous. But what's good is that Yi is the second division, and I guess they kind of have to figure out who gets promotion from the Yi League to Jia League before they can start this year's Jia League. So they're playing 2021 Yi League in 2022.
And we did mention this last week at the very end of the podcast that we got the news that the Yi League had been removed from the schedule.
Yeah.
Which we thought meant it had just been postponed indefinitely, probably for another few months. But all of a sudden, it's already back on the schedule, and it looks like not only that, but it looks like it's definitely going ahead because players have been named, teams have been named.
Correct, and I believe it's actually the women's Yi League that's been postponed, but the Open Yi League it's still going ahead. So it's gonna go ahead on the 12th to 20th, and the 16th is a day off. Might be going from 11th to 20th or something like that.
So it's pretty much a condensed league. It's a condensed calendar.
I believe it's only 8 rounds. I don't know how they can make it 8 rounds, but there's 15 teams involved. And if you recall, in the past there was a Team Japan, but Team Japan is not playing the Yi League this year.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, maybe just too much.
I think the condensed schedule. Yeah, I think the condensed schedule really makes it difficult for the Japanese players to fit it in their calendar.
Yeah. So instead of having 16 teams, they have 15 teams. But Team Taiwan is still playing. But Team Taiwan didn't exactly send their strongest, but they still have a fairly strong lineup, but just not their strongest possible lineup.
So who are they missing? They've got Chen. Who have they got in their team?
Well, Team Taiwan's got Cheng Chi-rui, which was a recent title challenger, Lin Lixiang, which is a former title winner, Chen Xuyuan, one of the Taiwan's undisputed number one of the past, and Lin Sixun, which I believe is a very strong player, might have won a title in the past. But of course, Taiwan's strongest player.
Missing. Yep, go on.
Oh yeah, Taiwan's strongest would be your Xu Haohong, who's got 6 out of 9 titles in Taiwan. But
he's not eligible for the Taiwan team.
He can't play in the Yi League because he's already in the JA League playing for Shanghai, I believe. So he's definitely out. And the next one would be Wang Yuanjun, who recently represented Taiwan in the LG Cup. Wang,
he's definitely missing. He's definitely missing who could have played for.
Yeah, 100%. And Wang has got 2 titles out of 9. And the other one is Lin Junyan, which is with 1 title out of 9 in Taiwan. So these are all the title the 2 title holders are missing. And then maybe, but still, it's a very, very decent team from Taiwan. But really, they're not.
Could have been bigger.
Could have been big. Well, yeah. Well, yes. And they aren't with this lineup and looking at their rating, they're not really expected to, I guess, gain promotion. I mean, just remember, even Yama Yuta had just barely above 50% record in Yi League, so it's a tough league. But none of the other players and they are really that famous. I did pick out the Korean player that will be participating. So Hyunjun, Lee Chang-suk, Park Seungjin, Kang Seungmin, and Sim Jaeik, which has featured already. They will be playing the Yi League.
Yeah, I would have expected Park Hamin to be playing. I thought he would have been a great candidate. Also, someone like Park Yun-ho.
Yeah.
A little bit surprised they're not playing, but those other players, especially Lee Chang-suk.
Yeah.
I thought Lee Chang-suk could have been close to playing in the JA League.
Right.
Last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, really happy to see him.
Yep.
Play in the Yi League.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing their results.
Yeah. If their team win promotion, of course they would be playing the JA League presumably. But let's see. But this doesn't look like the top tier Korean players, which are all playing the JA League. So these are the kind of like maybe second tier.
Well, Kim Myounghoon didn't play in the JA League last year. Is it possible he could get picked by a team this year?
Totally possible. Like maybe some of the top tier player they're missing.
Maybe whoever Lee Dong-hoon's team is could pick Kim Myounghoon instead.
Or maybe Lee Dong-hoon still wants a payday, so he's still playing in the JA League. I'm not sure.
I would be more than happy to see Lee Dong-hoon continue to play in the JA League.
Yeah. So that's the Yi League definitely happening from the 12th to 20th, or 11th to 20th, depending on your sources. So let's see what happens. And of course, the other one I want to discuss is this one, Taiwan's new pros. There's 5 new pros, but as you can see here, 4 of them are girls. This is really great results. So
these girls all qualified in an open qualifier.
I actually don't know how they work, but it does sound like that they just play in a big kind of Swiss tournament or maybe round robin, girls and boys together. And or they may have a separate track for the girls, but the Lee Jia Shin, which is this girl here, she's 13. She definitely played in the mixed group, and she actually came first, beating I guess presumably the other boys. So she got a 9-2 record.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah, so she topped the group.
She's definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I'll remember this name. And I think the girl who came second is Wu Yan Chen. She got an 8-3 record. I believe she came second out of everybody, like boys and girls, all in the same group. Yes. And I believe the next girl who qualified might have been Chen. She might have finished in the top 7 out of everybody. So I think the rule is that if you're a women player and you finish in the top 7, you become pro. But I think otherwise they may just take the top 2 or 3 or something. Yeah.
Right.
And they might even have a separate group. I'm actually not sure how they work, but in total, 5 new pros have come out of Taiwan in this particular tournament. 4 of them are girls, and 2 of the girls top the whole thing, which is great news. So yeah,
Top stuff.
I think the boy who made it was called Xie Chen Han. That's the boys. That's the only boy who made the pro this time. So congrats. This is awesome news. And just to finish off, unless you have anything else to say, Korea recently did a stream again, and I believe during the stream he was taking out his snacks, maybe his favorite snacks from his youth or whatever, or maybe he's selling snacks. I didn't watch it, so this is the snack that he's got. I'm not sure if people are aware, but in China and I believe in Japan as well, it's very common when you're watching a video to have the comments scroll across the video.
Oh, I've seen that when watching some Chinese videos.
Right.
I've always wondered what those what that was, and I guessed it was comments, people writing comments.
Yeah, so basically in YouTube you put a comment, it just appears at the bottom. But a lot of these live streaming shows, when you type a comment, it appears exactly at the point you send the comment across the screen like this. So yeah, and it's on by default. So basically, Korea was just counting all this snacks, and you see this text in red. Maybe you have to pay a bit extra to have them in red or whatever. It's basically saying Shin Jinseo at this moment is training. So it's basically just completely been trolled. Korea. I didn't watch this live stream, but I don't know what's happening. But but it's and actually Korea recently partnered with one of the biggest children's Weiqi platforms, and apparently in that one he's saying that Korea will take in some, shall we call it, disciples or students. So yeah, Korea will start taking students as a partnership with this platform. So yeah, so Korea is kind of branching out into stuff.
That's a bit. Sounds like he's almost semi-retired.
Nah, but he's very. I mean, he still goes to the training camps, and recently there's a show release. Is an interview with Korea. So on that show, hopefully that will get posted onto Pro Weiqi at some point and YouTube. Korea basically said that in the last 2 years, Shin Jinseo is the outstanding player, and that he's now the underdog, the challenger. So he's willing to put himself in a position where he's very humble about where he's at, and just take on Shin Jinseo, from the perspective of a challenger.
I really don't think Korea has ever been the underdog ever since he won his first world title, the Byun Cup.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think once he won that, he was already the best player. The best player in China, and I believe every time he was on the Nongshim Cup, he was the last player.
Right. Yeah.
So even his very first Nongshim Cup, he was already so good that he was put at the very end.
Yeah. Now, but you have to we've been through Shin Jinseo a lot in this episode. We all know how good Shin Jinseo is. Shin Jinseo has definitely won more international titles than Korea in the last 2 years. And also, Shin Jinseo has beaten Korea twice in consecutive Nongshim Cups in crucial games. So I think the only time Korea has recently beaten Shin Jinseo was in the Jaeik, one of the games. But that's otherwise, it's all been losses, I believe, versus Shin Jinseo. So, I mean, Korea, I would definitely, even watch some of the interviews, even like they would say that, they would definitely rank Shin Jinseo above Korea, even by the ratings points. Look at Go ratings. That's tell the same story. So it's probably true from an objective perspective that Korea is not as strong as Shin Jinseo at this moment. So but let's see. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming Chunlan Cup game between Korea and Shin Jinseo, and of course they could still meet in the. Could they meet in the LG Cup possibly, and also the Samsung Cup? So.
Well, the LG Cup they won't meet in the quarterfinals,
Right.
Because Shin Jinseo is playing Myounghoon.
Yep.
And Korea is playing someone else.
Yep.
I think he could be playing Kim Myounghoon.
No,
I don't.
Korea is playing Kang Dongyun.
Hey?
Kang Dongyun.
Oh, Koja's playing Kang Dongyun?
If I remember correctly, yeah. So
he's playing one of them, yes.
Yeah,
but
so,
they could meet in the semi-final like they did last LG Cup.
Yes. Yeah. So let's see what happens.
I still always think Koja is going to win every time he plays.
Shin Jinseo.
Even against Shin Jinseo, except for maybe the last Nongshim Cup.
Right.
I felt.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ever since I've been following Professional Go, I've never seen Koja as the underdog.
Yeah. But that's what he says in the interview. So.
Yeah, and I think he would know best. Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully they continue to meet up, and hopefully they have that Chubango.
Yeah. I mean, let's hope that happens.
Yeah. I still want to see it. I still think it would be an absolute blockbuster.
Yeah. Or I really do hope to see it, but hopefully it don't wait too long like they did with Guli and Lee Sedo. Yeah. So let's see. I think I have covered everything I want to cover. Gaza, is there anything else you wanted to add in?
No, I just want to quickly have a look at what's happening next week.
Yeah, of course. Let's look at next week. Just open up the calendar, and we are looking. Okay. Of course, as I mentioned, next week would be over the weekend. I think the only games that we have recorded is the Korean Women's League.
Well, and so we haven't put the Transatlantic Cup,
or the Transatlantic Cup,
but that will be happening. That will be happening on the weekend. We can add those in later. I put in there's a Kisei League A game on Monday.
Kisei, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's because Connor. Oh man, Connor Rin's playing. Oh no. Hope it doesn't make it back to the S League.
Okay, but look, we've got more Myungin games.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the one in dark green on the Tuesday. That's the big YK Construction Cup
That's
game.
a big one. So anything I put in dark is just massive.
If it's put in dark, it's probably got Shin Jinseo in it.
Yeah, it's probably massive. Shin Jinseo again.
Yeah. The IBK Cup, we haven't mentioned that, but that's a women's tournament. There's going to be a semi-final there. We'll talk about that one in the next podcast.
Yeah.
There's also some Nongshim Cup qualifiers. We haven't talked about that in this podcast, but really only the first round of the Nongshim Cup qualifiers happened. There's still a lot of players left. We'll hopefully cover that in the next podcast.
Yeah, hopefully we'll figure out who makes the Nongshim Cup, and
I don't know if we'll get that far. Maybe we will actually.
Yeah, no, let's see. Yeah,
but yeah, we've and also the Chinese Yi League.
Yes, that'll be a big one.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
There's not that many Japanese games that I found worth putting in the calendar. The Gosei Game 2 doesn't start next week. I think it starts the week after.
Right.
If there are some other interesting ones that I've missed, I will add them to the calendar.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I have missed any.
No, that looks good. I just wanted to quickly check the Malaysian player how he did in the C League. We might talk about the C League at some point. But no, there's no news. The Malaysian player is still on 0-2 record in the C League. That means he won't be challenging for the Kisei this year. All right, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But we can have a look at that next week anyway.
Yeah. We'll at some point describe what's happening here. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kaza. Let's call it a wrap.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Okay. See you. Bye.
All right. Bye.